I was born in 1895.
I was born on a winter morning, January 28, 1850.
The Upland Heritage Society puts on a vintage home tour. It's different homes each time. This year happens to be the 125th anniversary of Magnolia Township, which is what Upland was before it became Upland. And we are trying to highlight the Magnolia Township area.
My name is Timm, and I'm president of Upland Heritage. We are having our first annual Old Magnolia Days. This is the 125th anniversary of the Township of Magnolia. We decided to have a city home tour.
And reminisce about how things used to be, and maybe we can get back to that.
We are so excited. We have characters in history, including Mac the Medicine Man.
More than one deal in this city has been made sitting having a nickel Coke at my soda fountain. That's the inside of my establishment. Full service pharmacies too. We got everything from cigars to magazines to elixirs to potions to, of course, the soda fountain. We heal from every angle. So, and actually that's my house up there with my lovely bride Jasmine and our dog. And that house is actually right next door. Our house is just an average ordinary house, but the house next door is actually the meal house. And the meal house is pretty, we all know the history behind that.
I was born on a winter morning, January 28, 1850, in Holmes County, Iowa. I was born on the family farm, and my father was German and my mother Swiss, and they lived in a German-speaking community. I attended a one-room schoolhouse where I must have been bright because at the age of, or not at the age, but in second grade, I won a spelling bee and was awarded a brand new New Testament as a reward for my spelling. There were 3 boys in the school, and part of the time we were taught in English and part of the time in German. At the age of 17, I was able to get my teaching credential in the state of Ohio, and I began teaching. I taught from 1896 to 1906 when we came to California. In Ohio, I was a minister in the Amish church and was made a bishop before we left there. When we came to California, I bought several shops here in Upland. This was the first one purchased in 1906, which is the Mill Hardware store. I had the Upland Feed and Fuel down on the other end of town, and here I was an assistant pastor at the Mennonite Church, which is out on Campus Avenue. Did I speak about the house we lived in here in Upland? This is the house at 626 9th Street, and I want to tell you a few things about the house. We moved into the house in 1906 when we came here, and the house was a 1.5-story building. In 1910, we decided to make it a full 2 stories with the window walk at the top. The house has 4 bedrooms and no bathrooms. Our first bathroom did not come until later. Of course, having a toilet in the house is unsanitary, so we put it on the back porch. This is the barn behind the house. These structures were housing built for the Chinese workers that built the railroad. The family is pictured almost in its entirety here. Actually, there were 3 boys and 3 girls. Okay, and Ernest became our fire and police chief here in the 1930s. Florence Mill is the lady pictured over here on the end, and she was the last person to occupy the house on 9th Street. She lived there until the 1950s. After that, the house was owned by 2 different people up until Carol and Larry Timms bought the house 31 years ago, and they are now presently living in that house on 9th Street. Carol is probably, as you know, president of the Upland Heritage Association and is a member of our planning commission here in Upland. And if you see her around town, she is looking very elegant today in her Victorian uniform or dress.
He was a very special man in our history, also a mayor. We also have Mayor Rudy, the first mayor of 1906.
When I, Charles Rudy, first came to town, it was pretty much a wasteland, and mine was one of the first orange groves of the area. And as more orange groves developed, incorporation was necessary, and we incorporated not without difficulty, not without opposition from nearby Ontario, who accused us uplanders of land grabbing. And it took 2 days of debate to get the petition on the ballot to incorporate, and incorporation we did. The petition was signed by almost all of the male inhabitants of the area, which was 200, slightly under 200 people, 186 signatures on the ballot. And yes, only men were allowed to put their name on the ballot. We were talking 1906. Women didn't have the right to vote until much later, 1918. My name is Charles Rudy. I was the first mayor of Upland. I served as mayor from 1906 to 1908. Among the many businesses I was involved in is the Upland Feed and Fuel, which exists to this very day in downtown Upland.
We have a one-armed sheriff here in Upland for almost 30 years.
Well, I caught up with him right quick. Said, not gonna be in my town. Stole her back, put some decent clothes on her, brought her back to her parents, sent this fellow to jail for a good 60 days on that one. Welcome to Old Magnolia. I am Jed Sawyer, the first police officer, first chief of police here in these parts. Came here around 1895. Fortunately, lost the arm shortly thereafter, but don't let that fool you. I know how to take care of business around here in town. We had one of them reporters, a Roper fella, out on the stairs of the courtyard. He was doing a piece on this other southern gentleman who had a fancy with knives, and well, they got into a bit of an argument. That knife-wielding fella, he was gonna take after that reporter. So I came up behind him, wrestled him down, dropped that knife, put him away, take care of business. People might think that my disability stops me from doing my job, but no sir, it does not. It was a different time. Some of the most frequent crimes were speeding, believe it or not, you know, or driving a car, traffic violations. And it's kind of an interesting little trick we had back then, and that was if you got busted for some traffic, we made you put a big sign on your car that said traffic violator. You had to wear that around on your car for a long time. A little bit of public shaming, if you will, or maybe some public awareness.
We also have a lot of the people that were business owners.
We're at the corner of 2nd Street and C Street. Back in 1910, we started the furniture store here in downtown Upland, where my dad, J.C. Mell, and I started this store. My name is Ernest Mell. We started this back in 1906 when we came here from Ohio. My brother John had the hardware store down at the far end of the street. I also became fire chief and police chief back in 1939.
My name is Lucy. I'm with the Temperance League, and I am here to prevent the sinners from taking over Magnolia Days. I have been jailed because I believe so strongly in my actions. I have been jailed for taking out this bar's pool hall with an axe and using profanity with my husband. So any sinners out there, they are going to repent today. I have been working on this young lady for her choice of occupation, and it's taken me a long time.
Isn't she adorable? I think she's just one Red Rouge lipstick away from doing what I do. My name is Belle, at least my friends, especially my close ones, call me that. And there are more just like me over on A Street, and we would sure love to see you all. For just a little bit of green, it'll go a long way.
And those girls on A Street do not look like her. They are using her for bait. Bait, I tell you. So keep those men out of the alley.
It's dark in there. No need to worry about looks.
A blanket kill you just like a bullet.
Definitely.
I've been peppered with a shotgun and it stings.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we knew you had almost 50 feet, but it didn't show it on there, so sorry about that.
We used to use real bullets, but we kept losing members.
This is our celebration of the founding of the Township of Magnolia back in 1889.
This is also our anniversary year for the creation of Upland Heritage. We're now 25 years with our organization, so it's very nice that both anniversaries worked out to be in the same year.
Are you dead yet? Where are you? I'm right here.
So this is part of our celebration, the Wild West skit that we just had. We're in front of the Eagle's Nest, and here we are in beautiful downtown Upland, historic downtown Upland, that is.
So I started researching George, and I was just fascinated by what a innovative, forward-thinking person he was. He was an inventor, an entrepreneur. Good afternoon. I'm portraying Annette McCord Chaffee, who was the wife of George Chaffee Jr., one of the founders of Ontario, Upland, and Etiwanda. George was originally born in Canada. His father had a shipbuilding business up there. George was apparently had poor health as a child because he left school at 13, according to some sources, due to poor health. But he was very interested in engineering and was, in some degrees, a self-taught shipbuilding engineer. He built a number of ships through his father's shipbuilding business up in Canada that were very highly regarded. They were apparently, one of his ships, I have been told, was the fastest ship for its time and place. He built shallow draft shipping cargo ships that were running on the Great Lakes and some of the rivers up in that area. And when George's father decided to retire in the late 1870s, he and his family, except for George, who was off on his own, moved down to the Riverside area. And in somewhere around 1880, 1879, 1880, George and his family came down to visit. And while he was here, his younger brother William, brought him over to this area because the family was living out in the Riverside area. George and William came over here this was, I guess, the Cucamonga Rancho at that time. And they were looking at the land out here with the idea of whether it presented possibilities for investment and development. And George was so taken with this area that he never went back to Canada.
In the entire downtown, we have 80 pictures that have been enlarged to show how Upland was in turn of the 20th century Upland.
Oh, good morning. Welcome to my studio, Swan's photography studio. My name is Edna Swan. I was born in 1895 in Denver, Colorado, but I came with my family as a very young girl to California, and I learned photography at Chaffee High School. I was on the yearbook staff in 1910, 11, and 12, and I met my future husband, Earl, who was also a photographer on the FASTI yearbook staff. If you'd like me to show you some photographs that I've taken and some photographs of my shop, I have some of my fellow students here. These are my cuties dressed up for a play at Chaffee High School. This is the interior of my shop, which we won't be able to go into today, unfortunately. And then here's my shop in the 1950s when there was a sale next door at Betty Jean's dress store. So there's quite a crowd waiting out there. I'm going to show you also a picture of my dastardly ex-husband Earl when we were happy with our newborn Phyllis. And I am also going to show you a picture of myself on my wedding day. I was only 20 years old. Don't I look nice and happy? I'm here with my cousin at San Antonio Creek. I'm here with my husband Earl when we first opened our shop.
Give me a second.
focus.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I learned photography at a very young age when I worked on the Chaffey High School FASTY yearbook. And I was a photographer. And I have an example here of one of my original cameras. Of course, I'm much older now. The war's just ended. It's 1945. But I still am in business. I've been here forever. My husband, unfortunately, left me and took off with another woman and now lives somewhere in Alameda County. He left me with our 3 children, Phyllis, Kennard, and Earl Jr. But I needed to work still, so I still have the photography studio. I take lots of portraits. I have taken pictures of servicemen going off to war, both in the First World War and in this last Second World War. And I've also taken lots of photographs of local businesses. In 1938, in the Great Flood, I took tons and tons of pictures for insurance companies for all the damage. I'm not quite ready to retire. I'll probably retire in the next few years, but my business has been a success. I'm an institution here in Upland.
Edna Swan, who took so many pictures here in Upland, that has provided our museum with an archive of everything from soup to nuts. The Oddfellow building was the oldest building in town, and everybody used it for every purpose.
The town of Magnolia was formed right in this room because this was probably the meeting area for everyone in this area. This at one time was the back wall of the building.
Okay.
And then they added on, and then that became the back wall, and then they added on again.
Cool. So there's all sorts of fun things, and there's also going to be, we're honoring our armed forces today. This is Armed Forces Day.
Parade of colors. United States Army. States Air Force. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when the American flag passes by, if you have served in any branch of the military, please stand and render a hand salute. If you have not, please place your right hand over your heart. Thank you. We have been performing memorial honor details at Riverside National Cemetery for 17 years. We started out with 7 men 17 years ago, and now we have approximately 70 men. We are, again, there are no active duty personnel in our unit. We are all volunteers. Starting from my left towards the American flag, Jim Cohen, Corporal Jim Cohen is carrying the Air Force flag. Next to him is Corporal Fernando Montano with the Coast Guard flag. Next to him is Corporal Delmar Peterson with the United States Navy flag. And carrying our own Marine Corps flag is Sergeant Steve Fisher. And next to Steve with the United States Army flag is Corporal Eddie Martinez, and carrying our American flag is Sergeant Bill Pugh. Let's give all these guys a round of applause.
So we're very happy you're here, and we hope you enjoy our tour.
So how can I go on till without you? You took the part that once was my poor lonely heart, so why not take? So why not take all of me?
start rubato, and then I'll count you in.
Sure.
Yeah.
When sunny gets blue, her eyes get gray and cloudy, then the rain begins to fall. Pitter patter, love is gone, so what can matter? No sweet lover man comes to call. When Sonny gets blue, she breathes the sigh of sadness, like the wind that stirs the trees. When that sets the leaves to sway, like some violins are playing weird and haunting melodies. People used to love to hear her laugh, see her smile. That's how she got her name. Since that sad affair, she's lost her style, changed her smile. Somehow she's not the same. But memories will fade, and pretty dreams will rise up where her other dreams fell through. Hurry, new love, hurry here to kiss away each lonely tear and hold her near when Sonny gets blue. People used to love to hear her laugh, see her smile. That's how she got her name. Since that sad affair, she's lost her style, changed her smile. Somehow she's not the